One definitely in here. It looks like, yeah, it's kind of like a gradient. Can you see here? Here it seems to be solid yellow, and here it's kind of like a blend.
Yeah.
Where do you think the solid yellow begins as you move down?
Right below that big chunk.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right at 50.
All right, I like that. I think that's a good selection. We'll have some better markers when we do this one. All right, here's my straw supplier. All right, what about above here? Where does that modeling disappear as you move up?
32.
Something in here.
Yeah, 33.
Also seems to be an end to the roots around 20 centimeters.
Yeah. You see any differences in here? I see a slightly brownish color here and a darker color here.
Yeah. Yep.
And Josh, is that you? I noticed. I do notice there's seem to be more roots here and less roots here. So I would put, and there's also, I would argue that there's a PED change as well. Can you see how this is more crumbly?
Yes.
And this is greater, more cohesive. I bet you there's more clay in here than there is in here.
Would that be like the double A horizon thing?
Yeah, so I think we're dealing with two A's. Okay, so I'm going to put a marker here. And I'm trying not to be biased what was on that previous profile.
Where are you putting that?
I'm putting it, I don't know, like a 10. Okay, so we've got 0 to 10, 10 to 32, 32 to 50. Okay. Let's move down. All right. Well, you're definitely going from a yellow color to a gray color. I see gray in here.
Yeah, there's like mixing there.
There's kind of modeling here. I see yellow and gray mixed together. Oftentimes, modeling just means you get like clumps of a different color or a different texture inside of another. They're like little islands of a heterogeneous texture. And I think that's what we're seeing here. I'm trying to figure out where the solid yellow disappears. You see some black in here, but I'm not convinced that that black belongs here. I'm wondering if that's just not slumped from up above. Any thoughts?
The solid yellow probably ends right after the 80.
What, like 85?
I think there was a little mixing of the samples.
And then the modeling kind of disappears and turns into straight gray. You know, you can oversplit. You can make yourself crazy and create a lot of horizons where it's not necessary. Ultimately, what determines how split you want the horizons to be is what the ultimate question that you're addressing is. You know, if we're trying to distinguish rates of profile change or how quickly things change across a transect, it's probably the upper horizons that are most important. Once you get down to these kind of inert sand-only horizons, subdividing these isn't going to make much of a difference. But let's just go through the exercise anyway. Okay, so I see modeling ending. I see some confusing things. It looks like modeling reappears here. Am I seeing that correctly? Or could that be slumped in from below? And these are real roots down below?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, could that modeling be remnants of roots that have died off?
There's another complicating factor when you're dealing with soil profiles is sometimes you're looking at juxtaposed soils. Like it's possible, you know, let's say this we ultimately decide is a C horizon. Maybe this is an older E horizon. Okay? So what has happened perhaps is that you're looking at a soil profile that existed on the landscape at some point back in history, and then there's a new profile sitting on top of it. So you've got multiple soil profiles. This one's older, so this would be called a paleosol, P-A-L-E-O-S-O-L, an old soil, while this is the modern soil. So you've got a paleosol, maybe overlain by a modern soil. But I don't know that that's true. There's no reason why these roots couldn't have originated. If you have not root organics but leaf organics, that's another matter. So that might be worth, pick some of that apart and see if you're just dealing with roots or if you're dealing with leaf material. Because the leaf material wouldn't get translocated down the hole like that. Is that a pine needle or is that a root?
This looks like a pine needle. Yeah, it's definitely land stem. It's not a root.
What kind of bird is it?
That just came off. Well, I guess plant should know. It's above ground.
I mean, that big root that got cut, I mean, that was, I felt it get cut.
Yeah,
this is
it
definitely a
seemed
bird.
like it was alive.
This is definitely a root.
Go get us some pine needles. Get us some modern slash pine needles. This needle has like a ridge running down it. The side that's facing you. I thought pine needles are perfectly round.
Yeah, I think they are.
Round across it. This is definitely elliptically shaped across it.
What? No.
Just don't look like
The pine needles.
Yeah,
There's
well, I
different-
pulled off one of
different
these
shapes.
sheets from the first one.
Yeah, these are pine needles. Up and down.
Could they have fallen in the hole?
Well, they're dead.
Yeah, it was
I
something
think,
that was in.
I would agree with you maybe, but there's no pine needles in the top portion of this. There's no pine needles anywhere else in the profile.
Well, do we know if
Set us up.
No, I think it's a paleosol. There's nothing wrong with that. And we found those before. Everybody see that? There's the needle, and there's the one that came out of the soil horizon. And there's a lot of them in here. It's not just one.
Is there any way to tell how old the paleosoil is?
You could date those. You could date those needles. Well, I'm not sure what to do at the bottom here, but let's for the sake of simplicity, call all of this. We didn't end the modeling. Let's end the modeling here. So the modeling ends at 111, and then let's call the base of this horizon. That would be 175. And I'm not sure what, and then I think this belongs to some older soil. Okay, so the soil ends at 175, and then there's this paleosol that extends from 175 to 215. Whoever's taking notes. The modern soil ends at 175, and then this thing we think is a paleosol runs from 175 to, what did I say, 215? Okay. All right, so now let's put letters on it. All right. Remember, A horizons are places where organics accumulate. Everything's accumulating. Where do you think the A's are? Based on these. The first two?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got an A1 and an A2. And A1 is from 0 to 10. A2 is from 10 to 32. All right, now there's this mix. First of all, you don't know what an E horizon looks like. An E horizon would look very clean. Okay, all of what had accumulated there was moved out, so it would look a lot like a C. Okay, do you see anything up here that looks like a C? Well, the yellow signifies the arrival of iron oxide. So this is a,
Oh, it's still part of.
it's a B.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so this is where iron oxides are accumulating. And this looks like a mix between A and B, right? And then whichever letter you put up front is the dominant of the two. Does this look like it's more A or more B? More A. So we have an A1 and A2 and a capital A, capital B. And AB,
Kind of at the line where the 32 is.
yeah, it starts at 32 and goes to 50.
That's the AB.
That's the AB. All right. And then we've got B's. Where do the B's end?
Yeah.
How many B's are there?
There's plenty more.
Yeah, I don't know if this is B1, B2, or is this B, BC, C? What do you think?
That would all be if the C was very clean.
Yeah,
Doesn't that one have a bunch of these?
this does have organic.
This looks like mature.
I don't think you can do that. They don't let you do that.
It does. It's got the dark, the light, the yellow.
All right, let's call 50 to 85. I guess E. And then 85 to 110. It looks more C than E to me. So I'd call this, excuse me, more C than B.
Big C,
So it's
big
capital C, capital B. To 110.
E, I think. You said E.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. There is no E in here. So it's a CV. CV. More C than B. And then
The one above that
110.
is B then?
Yeah, B.
Oh.
So it's a C.
You did say B.
And then 110 to 175, let's just call it all C. Okay? All right, let's all try doing the color and the texture. So now we're going to describe each horizon. So let's start with A1. Who wants to try? Let's have two people try the color. We've got two Munsell books. Where's the other Munsell book? Yeah, the way this works is you take, should be a piece of plastic in the book. Who wants the honors? Would you like the honors? You can do it as a committee. And then all you do is you just flip through the pages.
The color committee.
Okay?
Ah.
You want to try it as well? Okay, remember that you're an A1. Okay? Yeah.
So you should be taking that. Oh, is that proper consistency when it feels plastic and moldable, like moist putty?
Like, all right. All right.
Gotta play with your marbles.
All right, go ahead.
Does the soil remain in a ball when squeezed?
Mine does.
Does that mean like when cracked?
Like it doesn't crumble, right?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh,
Does it fall
right, yeah, I guess.
So mine cracked.
Okay, what's next? And you're supposed to
So we're going yes.
rub it into a ribbon.
Place ball between thumb and forefinger. Gently push the soil with your thumb, squeezing it down upward into a ribbon. Form a ribbon of uniform thickness and width. Allow the ribbon to emerge and extend over the forefinger, breaking over from its own weight. Does the soil form a ribbon? Say yes.
Say yes. I got a nice little, turd shaped thing.
Yeah.
But it is cracking.
Yeah, mine cracked. Does the soil make a weak ribbon, less than 1 inch long before it breaks? Mine's drying out.
Mine's going over an inch.
Yeah.
A1.
Yeah, mine's a little bit over now.
But it cracks just over an inch.
We're good.
All right. This is the texture for AB
Right.
gray. Right? We have
Who do you agree with?
sandy clay
We
loam.
have the same color.
Sandy clay loam for the gray part of AB. Did you concur there, sir? Dan?
Is that sandy clay loam?
Yeah, I had very gritty between 1 and 2 inch ribbons.